exactly, exactly. Well, what do you say we just get started and jump in,
Yeah.
recognizing our busy Sunday afternoon schedules.
Mhm.
Welcome to the Common Humanity Peace Channel. My name is Mel Lehman. I'm the director of Common Humanity, and we use art as a way to connect people here in the States with people around the world, specifically here in the Middle East. And behind me, you see that connection made. It's a quilt from my American heritage. And here's some beautiful art. And if I move my head, you'll see that picture of the blue vase. That's Khalid's painting. So we have one of his paintings and some other Iraqi artists. So welcome, Khalid. We're very glad to have you here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mel. And really glad and delighted to be with you guys.
Well, we have been friends for almost 15 years when you stop and think about it. I think we first met in Damascus. 15, I've lost the exact count, but something like 15 years ago. And I knew then that you were an excellent artist, and time has proven again and again that I was right. You've been exhibiting and selling and wonderful art. So tell us, if you would, a little bit about your background in Iraq, and then as you feel comfortable. We don't want to push you too hard, but this is the sad 20th anniversary of the tragic U.S. invasion of your homeland. So if you have a moment to tell us a little bit about what it was like before that and that experience, and then we'll get to your art before too long.
Yeah, in 2003, during the American invasion, it was people were in shock of what's happening to the country, and all of a sudden, all the, let's say, government and the state institution dismantled, and it's not a good situation for any citizens. So, but people were hoping that there will be a peaceful change. There will be people could get a prosperous life, but unfortunately, it wasn't that bright scenario hidden in their futures. I stayed in Iraq from 2003 until, after that for 3 years. Then I had to leave the country for my safety, of course. It wasn't easy to leave all your belongings and all what you've been working on for your whole life. And then you decided, I cannot stay here anymore. So yeah, and the show is about it's currently running in Alexandria downtown, and the Torpedo Factory Gallery. It's about the U.S. invasion to Iraq.
Right, and it must have been a very distressing time, to say the least, and all the chaos, and you had to leave your friends and your painting. I guess that's still a difficult memory for you, I would think.
Yeah, of course. And I lost many of my, early paintings during the war, of course, because you cannot take everything that you owe. You have to leave stuff, and there are so many priorities. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to take my paintings. But if you compare that to what people lost, actually, it's not comparable. So many people lost their lives and their loved ones, and sometimes even I feel like sad that I lost some of my paintings, but it doesn't compare to what other people lost.
Right. Well, in those intervening years, we have been friends, and we've included your beautiful paintings in our exhibits, and you've had other successes we want to talk about. But at the moment, to note this sad 20th anniversary, you have an exhibit at, as you said a moment ago, in Alexandria, Virginia, which is just south of Washington, D.C. And I had the great privilege of being there for the opening. And let's see if we can get screen share to work here and take a look and help us see this. Let's see if I can get this to work here. Are you now seeing your name?
Yes, I
Okay.
can. Yeah.
Thank you. An apology to our viewers. I've spent the last 2 hours trying to figure out why I can't get this to go totally full screen. I don't know. I've been doing this for dozens of times, and somehow this one, I don't know if Zoom is the problem or I'm the problem, but we'll go with this because we can still see his beautiful paintings. And here is the exhibit in Alexandria, Virginia.
Yeah, this is the image I took when we were, a friend of mine, we were hanging the painting. So you can see there is some messy stuff. It's not the the final show, but we were preparing for the show. Yeah.
And here you were accorded an interview. And here is the director of the museum on the right, or the gallery on the right. And here you are elaborating on your beautiful paintings, which we'll see closer in a moment. But yeah, she is the director of the gallery, as I recall.
Yeah, and we had there is something very nice in the Art League Gallery and Torpedo Factory Gallery. They had the artist talk on the opening reception day, so people can ask questions and listen to the artist talking about his paintings. And this is really, I think, have mutual benefits for the audience and for the artist as well.
And here is your favorite painting and mine. I think it's so wonderful.
Oh, don't say it loud, but it's one of my favorites. Yes.
And the little card there is, you've made this into your name card, and we'll see some compliments to you on your guest book there in a minute. But beautiful painting, which is sort of the signature of the show.
Yeah, I mean, I started the show with the exhibition. You have to, artists have to submit 5 paintings and write a proposal about the art, what he think about it, what he want to say in his show. And I think this painting, either the first one or second one of the whole series, and then so it has really special place in my heart.
We'll come back to that. And here you are, just a few more shots of the exhibit, and then we're going to focus in on 10 or 12 of the paintings. This is a gallery called the Torpedo Factory, and it was used to manufacture torpedoes during World War II. So this is put to peaceful use, and wonderful exhibit to have in that space.
Yeah, I think if all military factories turn to be art galleries, life will be better. And
Amen. I think that's well said. And we have at least one of your paintings in all of those exhibits. That would be even better. Here is one more random shot, and we'll get to talk about these in a moment. But let's tell folks about the title. The title of the show was totally intriguing to me. It's called The Enemy. And tell us what you had in mind when you gave this show this unique name.
I was thinking of when politicians want to go for war, they always try to galvanize public opinion that they are doing good deed and they are fighting bad guys. And those bad guys, they try to dehumanize them and try to make them look like enemy. And in my exhibition, I'm showing those are not enemy. Those are real innocent people who are living their lives, and they have no a bad intention to do to other people. They were living there, and they are not enemy to anybody. And this is the contradiction. This is the contrast between the real paintings and between the title.
Right. So you are showing us the part the beauty of Iraq that we missed at that time. So this is such an important part of who Iraq is and the beauty of that wonderful country I had the privilege of visiting. Tell us again about this painting, which we got a little bit better close up here at.
Yeah, so the whole idea of the show, it's not it's showing the cities or people living in those cities who were living their lives just moments before war, before bad things happen, like before bombing or launching missiles or these things. So in this painting, I'm showing Baghdad, which is on the Tigris River, and these you can feel like these are delicate buildings that show the heritage and how old the city is. And of course, there are palm trees. There is a boat in the river. So people, it's peaceful land. If you look at the painting, to the bottom part of the painting, you feel like it's peaceful land. It's not something bad happening there. But then on the upper part of it, you can see those bombs that are landing on the city, and sadly, it's going to be destroyed.
One of the defining moments of my life was being in Baghdad in 1998, in which there were 4 nights of bombing by the U.S. before the invasion in 2003. So I have a little hint of what folks were going through. Here is another one of your paintings, and tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, its title is A Girl and Explosion, and it shows how how violent the war was. It's a peaceful girl, she's a pretty girl, and you can feel that there's a fire in the scarf around her neck, and there are some flowers on the top part of the paintings. And by the way, there's one painting in the show about the bombing of Baghdad in 1998, which is one of the painting, which is titled "A Worship and a Woman on a Worship." Probably it's not included in the paintings that we are sharing now.
Mm-hmm. Another image of confusion, and how would you describe this?
Yeah, confusion. There are some flowers. He's carrying some flowers, but he's watching a lot of bullets. Those red parts is the bullets in the painting. And it shows how peaceful the people there, they are carrying flowers, they loving their lives, they love their life, but sadly what happened.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm not a very good descriptive of my paintings, but
no, you're doing very well. This is very helpful.
And it's hard. This painting is one of the most painful paintings that I've thought so many times that probably I'm not gonna finish. It's let's say a victim, a baby boy, and there is a car toy on the top part of the painting. The reason why I flipped it upside down, because I wasn't able to look on the baby. So I flipped it just to get some, break from it. But then after probably a couple of weeks, I decided to keep it as it is. I flipped it. So just because it's, remembering wars and remembering these bad stories, and it's really painful and it's not easy to process. But and I thought so for so many times that this topic is heavy and probably I'm not gonna be able to do the show, but I did what I can do, so I'm really satisfied with the result, at least.
Well, I'm so grateful, and I know our audience is so grateful too. What do you think gave you the strength to carry on? These are painful topics, and you had the strength not just to carry on, but to do paintings about it. And where did you find that strength? How did you reach that part of your soul that said, "I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to let this, as terrible as it is, I'm not going to let it stop me."
Yeah, I thought part of it is I felt like um, the victims of wars, like at least their voice need to be heard. And I know probably it might sound exaggerating, but I felt I'm responsible for conveying those images to audience. And as I said in the reception, it's not a political statement. It's just sharing stories and sharing memories with people, so people can probably listen and see and understand what happened, and hopefully that will change people opinions about war.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, excellent. Um, same same style, or is this showing us some brightness here in this one?
The upper part is brightness. A guy, like a young boy, he's playing soccer, wearing the Barcelona dress. But if you see the bottom part of it, it's the big airplanes shooting missiles to it. And if you see the like all images are really brightful and colorful. It doesn't at the first glance. It, it's not gonna give you a bad impression or sadness. It shows you like because the war happened in March, and let's say started in March and April, and at that time we have the same season, which is spring at that time, and it's really nice weather with all spring blooming and thing. But sadly, that bright and spring spirit destroyed by war.
Yeah, yeah. And here's that beautiful season you just referred to.
Yeah, and of course, in reality, paintings like be prettier than images of it. The yellow, it's really highlighted yellow, which is really brightful and cheerful. But you can see there are so many bombs.
Mm.
And surprisingly, I before the show, like a couple of days, I was reading an article on the NPR Facebook, and there's a guy who was in the military, and he was saying when the war started, he referred that to bombs, 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 bombs. He repeated it probably 8 or 10 times, and I felt like this is what I want, what I'm trying to show in my painting. There are so many bombs, like huge, so heavy, and invasion that had like really bad impact on people's life,
Ah, wow. So
and it's still having, of course. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The 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 war has stopped, but the troubles have not stopped.
Yes.
Is that a fair?
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah. And here we're going to get to some comments. And for our viewers, always remember when you go to an art show, be sure to leave a message, right? How did
Yes.
it means
Yes.
so much. It means so much to the artist, right?
It means a lot. I was, the show started at 6 p.m. I mean, the reception, and I was there. Usually, I go there early. I was there by 5, and then before the show started, I was, flipping those papers, and I read probably 4 or 5 pages of very pretty, nice comments about my work, which really was really very, very good experience. And it makes me feel like so proud of what I'm doing and give me a very, very good push to keep on.
Amen. And let's see a couple, right? We have a couple here. That's me. That's me, two-thirds
Oh, really?
down
Which
on the
part?
left, and some other folks. So to our beloved viewers, always, always, always write, because Khalid treasures, any artist will
Yeah.
treasure these. Um, Time is slipping by, but we're not in a rush, but we are slipping by. Let's take one more look at this. And one of the things I want to ask you about is you had the first part of your professional life in Iraq, and
Hmm.
shall we say the second half of your professional life here in the States.
Yeah.
And would you be able to help us see the part of your talent and your gifts that's nurtured by the Middle East part of your experience, and the influences of, as we say, and what are the influences that have developed you coming into a whole different culture here in the States? How has that jolt, bang, you're here and suddenly in a whole new, very different artistic milieu? How's that impacted you?
Actually, yeah, as you said, like I started working there. I studied art for about 2 years, even though I consider myself a self-taught artist. But then I stayed in Syria for 6 years as well, where I get the chance to share my paintings with and show my paintings in galleries, and have really good friends that we work together. But when I came here, I was more able to see, great paintings for great artists, because I'm lucky to live in DC area, and I think DC has probably 18 exhibition, I mean, museums. Most of them most of it are great museums. I was able to see, let's say, all Picasso's Blue Period last year. I was able to see so many Guston Phillips paintings last month. Um, name them, Mark Rothko, all those great artists. And it's really different between watching a painting in person and then just see the image of it. It's really different thing. You can feel the textures, see the color, um, and it's really touched me and enriched me, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really a privilege to be, at least in this area. I never lived in different part of the States, but here I'm really satisfied with the chance that I'm able to see more American art. And
Yes.
now I can say I know so many American artists. Before that, you know, most of very well-known artists are like French artists, probably, or beside Picasso or something like that. But here I can see more diversity in the artwork. There are so many artists, and even the gallery that I'm showing my painting in, there are so many like mediums and so many different, let's say, regular form of art. It's not just painting and statues. There are so many different way of presenting art, and yeah, there are so many talented American artists.
And at the risk of putting words in your mouth, but I'll take the risk, then some of the richness that we're seeing as well is from your own heritage. The Iraqi heritage is the cradle of civilization, and all the way back to Sumer and Babylon and the Ishtar Gate and Assyria, and such a richness of artistic expression. And might I guess that some of that has worked its way into your palette and your technique as well?
Probably, yeah, because um, uh, I do a lot of landscapes, and I still remember the trips that my family used to do on to a small town in the country called Anna. It's by the Euphrates River, And these images that printed in one's mind when he's kid is really keep like it's going to be a very good source of inspiration lifelong. And living there also enriched me in the way of color, the way people clothes, even the holidays, rituals, all these things sometimes unintentionally come to the paintings.
Mhm. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, these you will no doubt want to see more of Khalid's beautiful work. Here's how you do it. You can go to Facebook, Khalid Alaani. You can go to his website, khalidalaani.com, and there is his email address. Have I copied that all down correctly?
Yeah, everything's correct.
Okay. Well, and these are for sale. If you want to have a connection with Khalid, here's the way to do it. And you would be glad to make contact with people, I'm sure. And if you want to get in touch with Common Humanity, here is our website. And I might note, we operate on a shoestring budget. So any of you folks out there like to make a contribution to Common Humanity, that would be great. You could do it here. And we're looking for venues to have more exhibits. Our goal is peacemaking through cultural understanding of folks in the Middle East and folks here. So we're looking for venues. So if you're out there with a civic group or a house of worship, would love to hear from you and have this beautiful work spread far and wide. We've been doing it for 15 years. And we want to continue doing that. Well, let's see if there's any questions here. You have time yet for a few Q&As, Khalid?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, okay. Let's see what we got here. This is from Karen. Here's an easy one. Where exactly are you, Khalid?
I live in Falls Church, Virginia. And I've been living there in Virginia, I've been living there since 2015. And I came to the States in 2012 as a refugee, and I stayed in Maryland for 3 years. So this is a short resume about my artistic residence.
Great. And here is a note from, another note from Karen. Do you continue to focus on the war as a subject of your art?
I did one paintings about the war in 2007, and I call it at the time Shock and Awe, because this was the title of the war, here in Washington. I'm not sure if I'm gonna proceed with that. I'm preparing for something different now. Probably in November, I'll do something about holidays and neighborhoods, and things that bring people together. But at the same time, I think I can do more, because talking about war is not gonna. I mean, one show is not enough for sure, and I believe I can do more in the future. Yeah, probably. Yeah, hopefully I can do something in the future.
And here is one last comment from Carla, my friend Carla. This is a great interview and I enjoyed the conversation. What is Khalid's current plan for the coming year? Yeah, that was one of the questions I didn't get to. Well,
Yeah.
let's look at the, yeah,
So
you.
I
have
answered
that on my list.
Yeah, I answered 2 questions in one shot. So
plans that you might be making? You said a new show happening?
Yeah, in November, probably there will be a show in a museum in Maryland. It's called Sandy Spring Museum, and I'm preparing to do a show about neighborhood, how we share things, we share holidays, we share this human touch of sharing with people is really important, and of course it's going to be landscape wise, and there'll be a lot of trees, houses, rivers, these are my favorite theme. And of course, there will be human figure because I consider my art is human centered. So hopefully, I'll do something different and cheerful.
Great. Well, this has been wonderful. But before we let you go, we have a little tradition, which is we ask all of our guests one simple question. What is something that we could do for peace? We see war happening all over. What is one simple thing that each of us can take away as something we can do for peace? An attitude, an action?
First of all, don't believe politicians, I would say. And second, I think we need to listen to each other, understand the differences, and love each other and love the differences. And that's what makes people, what makes life rich because of these differences.
Well, thank you, Khalid, and thank you for being my friend. We started 15 years ago as colleagues, and I respected your work from the outset, and you were a great guy. And in the intervening 15 years, you've moved from just being a professional colleague to being a personal friend, and I'm very grateful for that and look forward to many more years of friendship with you and things we can do together. Thank
you very much.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks to our audience and folks who will be seeing this on YouTube and on our Facebook page. And we have a YouTube channel. We have other interviews with artists. We have an interview with Khalid about 2 years ago, which was equally articulate and equally engaging, and other artists from Iraq. We have programs about Vietnam, peacemaking in Vietnam. We have various interesting programs. Please take a look. And come back if you are on our mailing list. If you're not on our mailing list, send you. We'll add you for future mailings. We'd like to do this about once a month. Is this a good time? In the middle of a Sunday afternoon, or should we do it on a Tuesday evening? If you folks have any thoughts about that as the best way to get an audience. Thank you again. God bless you all. Thank you, Khalid, and have a wonderful, you did a great job. It's so nice to chat with you. I've enjoyed this.
Thank you very much.
Look
for
forward
the opportunity.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. God bless.